Hey guys, so just before I start this video, I wanted to let everyone know that I was a little unsure if whether or not I should make a video about this particular topic, and I have decided that I will, just because, as you guys know, my channel is mainly about sexuality, mental health, and other general thoughts, and I thought it would be a little bit strange if I didn't at least acknowledge the events that have happened over the last couple days. I want you to know that I've also made sure not to monetize this video at all. Even though I don't make any money from these videos, I don't want there to be any possibility of me making any money off this video in the future either. These are just some of my thoughts of what had happened. If you guys have any comments, please leave them below. I'd really like to hear some of your thoughts. Thank you. So guys, when there's a mass shooting or something like what happened in Orlando or some kind of terrorist attack, in most situations, I don't generally find myself to audibly cry at something like that. And I know that that sounds terrible, but I'm just being brutally honest with you here. In those situations, I don't know those people. I don't know their lives. I feel for them and I feel for what happened to them, and it's a tragedy. But in most situations, it doesn't bring me to tears. What happened in Orlando did make me cry, though. The reason why this tragedy has hit so close to home to me personally is because, yes, the attack was on a gay bar. And yes, I am gay. And because of that, I feel emotionally attached to these people. So this assumption that I'm about to make is quite a blanket assumption for all LGBT people or the experiences that gay people have had. But it is an assumption that I am so confident in making that it has brought my own subconscious to tears. You've got 50 people who have basically gone through similar situations that I myself have experienced. At some point in their lives, these victims were terrified of who they were. They denied themselves of who they were and who they wanted to love. They were scared of their own attractions. They were terrified to tell friends of who they were, and they had lost friends because of this truth. For a period of time, they were terrified of their families, and they were terrified of losing their families because of who they were. And through all of that, they got through it, for better and, in some cases, for very worse. They had their first LGBT kiss and they thought, yes, this is who I am. At work and at school, and in some cases, at home, they felt like outcasts, like they didn't belong, like they were different, and in some cases, like they were unsafe. Through all of this, they grew into who they were and they began to embrace themselves. And they started to go to clubs where they could be themselves, be with like-minded people, be proud, and be in a safe space. And in that moment, through everything they had been through, all of their greatest fears had come to light. All the hate they had been trying to fight, that they had been trying to hide from, had found them in that place, and it was the reason that they died. The things that really hit me hard in these situations, and especially in this particular case, are the last text messages. When you see the last messages that they had sent to their parents when they were hiding in stalls, when they were hiding under people who had already been shot, it breaks you a little. I was watching the news, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this text message anywhere, but the text message was basically saying, "Mum, I'm trapped in a stall. He's coming. He has a gun. He's coming to get me. I'm going to die." And the mother's text messages were basically just that, "Which club are you at? Where are you? I'm going to come get you." And in those situations, I put myself where he was, and I would be texting my mum as well. And I can just see her in her pink nightie, scrounging for her car keys, getting in the car and coming to drive to pick me up. A woman who is a parent to 2 gay kids, who has gone through all the same struggles that we have, getting into her car and coming to get her child who she can no longer defend. And in that moment, there is nothing that she can do for her child anymore. The pure hate and the fear that she had for him, and the fear that he had for himself, has now been realized. The ironic thing was the blood, and how people in our own community needed blood and we couldn't legally donate. And this brings me to the point in the video where I try and figure out what the point of this was. What's come out of it? Have we progressed have we learnt anything? The LGBT community has been surrounded by support from our straight allies. And in the situation with the blood, this is a video where our straight friends had came out to donate blood, and the line went around the block. The UK is now revisiting its bans on homosexuals donating blood. I've been noticing this change in our online communication as well over the last couple days. Before, whenever I was in a gay Facebook group or a chat comment section of a LGBT YouTuber, the communications between us is quite shallow in some cases, and it can be very flirtatious. But ever since the situation in Orlando, on Twitter and Facebook, all of my LGBT community forums that I have, everyone is now speaking to each other as if we were one big family. A lot of comments started to rise up on social media from people who were supporting this man and the things that he had done. These comments of support for him showed us that he wasn't one single man full of hate and armed with a weapon, but he was one of many. And in those moments, all of our bubbles were popped. And now, we need each other more than ever to try and rebuild our defenses. Over the past couple of years, social media has done a great deal of work in trying to encourage young people to come out of the closet and show them that they can be proud and that they can be safe. What this has done has made a lot of new young people, thousands upon thousands of young people, terrified to come out of the closet. This tragedy has brought to life that even in this day and age, our greatest fears for the LGBT community can still be realized. We need to try and protect each other, to be proud, and to be safe. So just before I leave, I wanted to let you guys know about a tweet made by a user called Don Windsor. He said, "Congrats, murderer, you have turned the focus of the LGBT community, one of the most powerful progressive movements, onto the crumbling edifice of one of our country's biggest problems, gun reform. I don't know if you've seen what they've accomplished in the past 25 years, but these queens get shit done."